Hey everybody, it's Willbits, and we are playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. In case you didn't remember, from last week's cliffhanger, this one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. In case you didn't remember, this is the first trial of the game. You've hopefully already seen all of this. Objection! No. We managed to clear... That's the most horrific part of the case! We managed to clear Miss Woods' name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Ted to Nate. He's just having a rough time. So we never got to see him actually put on his friend's jacket. That they made a big deal of, like, ever since he put on that jacket, he's become a different person. Is he possessed by his friend? Apollo's a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Tonate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo's resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. And then you can be a jerk to him. Like you love to do. You big jerk, Trucy. You're a terrible daughter. I'm disappointed in you. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. She usually looks up or over to the side, but not down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Alright, enough of this, people! This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you! We're gonna go watch a whale show! You're the only one who's crying, Athena. I'm a man and don't cry, and Trucy is incapable of crying since the operation. Technicalities! Look, we have work to do! We have to take over! Take over what exactly? The world? Same as we do every night, Pinky. Apollo's Space Center case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade, right, Daddy? Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Good, now that that's settled, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. Wait, right now? Now? We better not be running the whole way. Don't we have a car to get in? In Japan, I guess we might not, but in California, we definitely would. There she goes. I'd better catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. What's that? Make a bigger mess in the office? Throw more magic things everywhere? I'll do it. In the meantime, I'm gonna bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. What does that have to do with baking cookies? Are you gonna poop in your panties? Because that doesn't help anything. That doesn't help anything, Trucy. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm. Oh, she's back. Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, my bags. Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that, too. right, you two. Let's be careful out there. Well, wasn't that just precious? Are we talking to our good friend, Mr. Starbuck? So our client's one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him, and I literally live under a rock. That's right, he's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard.
Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix, right? Apollo's mentor, right?
Yes, that's right. Mentor. Has a nice ring to it. Mentor. The fresh maker. Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered.
And you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere?
Huh, you mean, other than at your trial? I don't think so.
I guess so. My mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. The same goes for my life. Too much time in space. I've got space madness. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft.
Yikes, he's seriously got to stop depressing himself. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere, that just means we'd shine like shooting stars, right?
Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's where we were all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars?
Guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in a flash. They're on fire. They're on fire the whole time.
Oh yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. To the stratosphere and beyond! Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want.
Is that really all it takes? All right, feeling better. Tell me about the case. So you have no memory at all of the incident?
I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black and clouded as a dark nebula.
Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial?
You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. Unless they're the drugs that make you forget things, in which case I might have taken them, but I forgot about it. Because I guess they work. It is true, I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know?
So the so-called HAT-1 miracle. That must have been a terrifying experience.
But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity.
He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know. But the tranquilizers were found in your system.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, but I don't know why. I'm done for.
If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you?
Exactly! That's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it.
Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed!
I'll say, they even managed to plant your prints on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small, like about the murder weapon, for example.
That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits.
Utility kits?
Yeah, staff who work on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is.
Unless there was a kit specifically missing a knife. Talk about the hat one. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right?
That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft.
You did? What kind of problems?
Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner. But I managed to make it somehow with the popsicles and ice packs from the freezer.
No way. No wonder they dubbed it the Hat One miracle. It's a miracle you made it back.
Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on and on forever, and ever, and ever, without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come save me. I was all alone. All alone, with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking.
An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. Tell me about outer space. What's in space? With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission?
What? No way. Of course not. Even now I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand it. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity at escape velocity and spin around, weightless.
But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid?
I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier. An unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere.
The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life.
No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight.
One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. The victim, Clay Terran, he was kind of like your protege, wasn't he?
Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like master and apprentice or anything like that. But Clay did think of me as his mentor.
The mentor and the protege. What a combination they must have been.
With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now...
Clay must have been very encouraging, huh?
Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I'd hear him shout, "You're fine!" I always got the feeling everything really was gonna be just fine.
You're fine. Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all the time, too. And I always feel encouraged, too, whenever I hear him shout it.
Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day, out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. These two hung around the Space Center so much they were like part of the staff. One time, during zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit. And the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear.
So, I'm fine and you're fine. We're like Apollo and Clay's secret phrases, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now. Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder?
Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine.
But he actually did climb down that ladder, so a way has to exist.
From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. But that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through barred windows.
You're fine! Solomon Saul Starbuck is fine! Everything's gonna be alright!
Huh?
And Athena Sykes is fine! Come on, Mr. Wright, you too! Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you! Phoenix Wright is fine! They're fine! We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us! Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict.
Sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto! Good idea. Let's go. All right. Let's look at this court record, first of all. Notes. Search the crime scene. Nothing else. All right. Let's get going. We haven't been here at all. That's pretty cool. Cosmos Space Center. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place this Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look at how brightly the GYAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. That's a mouthful, GYAXA. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. GYAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah, but why the strange acronym? I mean, what is Gaia supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have abbreviated to GYAXA, or even Gaia. I guess so. Oh, I know. Maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Galactic scooter, full speed ahead. Who? What? I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. Yikes, who's this geezer and what's he want?
Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of space science.
Pardon me, but you are?
My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. I am the director of the Cosmos Space Center. The center of the cosmos.
Boss, that was pretty groan-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Aha! So you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you? And who was the first to find the victim?
Actually, there were two of them.
The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm.
That is correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But this talk of the incident, are you by any chance the space police?
You can't take the word space onto just any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way. We're Earth lawyers. We're from Earth.
Oh, I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now go ahead, I've waited.
I can already tell he's gonna be nothing but trouble. Don't let him hear you say that, or you'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay? For now, we have to assume that he's telling the truth. Even though, kind of getting a guilty vibe out of this guy straight away, I tell you what. So as director, what do you do here at the Space Center specifically?
Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind.
Yuri is a very common name, and Cosmos is a cosmonaut, so I think he's gotta be Russian, right? Right? Like, maybe I'm exaggerating,
but Yuri Cosmos, the cosmonaut, seems like a very Russian name to me. Hey, just saying.
I believe I used the word specifically in my question.
Attention all personnel to your breaker stations. Prepare for break. Breaking is happening. Everyone get out cigarettes. We smoke them. It'd be very good.
Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner.
That is exactly right. Because I am an important man, my manner is important.
Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm. Well, there's bound to be some people like that, here in the boundlessness of space.
What's that? You want to know what it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the Hat 1 project. This hat is Hat 1. Other hats, Hat 2 or bigger. They come later. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it.
I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it, specifically. Alright. Could you tell us what you know about the instance from the other day?
I refuse.
What? Why you not tell us about things?
Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the center of the cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom.
What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow?
That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind.
I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. Then let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. The Hat 1 was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home.
I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will import to you the complete story of the Hat 1 project.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hat 1's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat 1 reached its planned orbit, from where it launched the Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the Hat 1 returned safely to Earth.
That struggle was when the incident known as the Hat 1 miracle occurred, right?
Correct. And it was truly a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth but a few days ago.
So what kind of samples are they? And what's in them? And why were you taking them back into space? Were you gonna, like, put them back on the asteroid?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. Regrettably, we've had no time to inspect these samples to do everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years.
That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loudmouth braggart after all.
In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of this space center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential. They love space forever.
A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big.
Our endeavors with the moon rock lives on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos.
I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
What? Bite your tongue. It's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it.
I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. Especially a space program. Crap's expensive. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case. I read the Wikipedia. Is that so?
Well, I will be on my way. As you can see, I am very busy and a very important man. Galactic Scooter, fire up the main engine, max battle speed, and engage!
I love this flying spaghetti monster over here that you can pose with and touch his noodly appendage. That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we'd better get going too. You bet! Let's make it so!